Okay, let's talk about site pop-ups. Site pop-ups are they're a new feature with this update. However, if we're familiar with site alerts, which used to be an alert type, if I head over to create alert and alert types, we used to have an option here for site. That has been changed though. All of your site alerts from the past and all of your saved ones as well have now been transferred or migrated to the site pop-ups tab. So what these are is basically it is what it sounds like. It's a pop-up that appears on your website. And using this site pop-ups dashboard, we're able to actually configure things like how our pop-ups look, what they say, when they appear, um, and I believe that's about it. We can configure more and more pop-ups as well. That's something. So what we have here is master detail display. We have our pop-ups on the left, and this right pane here is going to change depending on which we select. So I'm going to go ahead and click the or go over what we have here. So if I go ahead and select one of these existing pop-ups, you'll see it updates on the right-hand side here. I have the option to refresh the pop-up list, create new pop-ups, duplicate pop-ups, delete pop-ups. These duplicate and delete are toggled off. And the way that we toggle those on is it's not enough to just select a pop-up. We also have to check it off as well. Or actually, I could just check this one off, for example, and then those pop up. So we can duplicate one pop-up or we can select multiple and hit the delete option. And so those are options for us. But in terms of actually editing, we have our edit and preview. So click the title or content to start editing the pop-up content. A little disclaimer that when we insert links into the pop-up editor, they're gonna be underlined, but this does not translate to the pop-up itself. So what that means is I'm gonna go and select the pop-up content here, and I'm gonna go and create a link, which is this option here. I'm gonna give this just a pound sign, oops, a pound sign, and click OK. So in this editor, the link that I just created is now underlined. However, if I were to actually view this pop-up, it's not going to be underlined. It's going to have whatever style is applied to the links on the website. So that's what that means. So we saw a very broken down version of the post editor here. We can do a lot of the things in post that, or we can do a lot of things in this pop-up content that we can do in post with some limitations. So not everything is available here. Things like boldface or italicized or underlined, oops, or underlined, strike through, you know, if we're familiar with the post editor, we're familiar with this. It's the same stuff, just broken down for pop-up viewing. And then the title as well, I can click into here and actually change the title. I can start typing into here. Um, Very basic stuff. So that is the edit and the preview as well. It doubles as both. If I head over to display, this is things like what type of pop-up is this? Design the pop-up elements and animations. We can change the animations applied, change the header, change the body, change the footer. I'll go over all those in a separate video. And then in configure, this is where we go to actually define the conditions that allow this pop-up to show. I'll go over these in a separate video as well. However, I do want to show you those buttons on the bottom, render changes and save pop-up. So many of the settings that we have here can actually be previewed before we actually save it. So settings marked with a looks like a little eyelash or a comment or something cannot be rendered in the preview. So this is things like enabled, global, or sticky. So if I change these, I can't render them and see them in the preview. So I'll do one like let's change the header background to this yellow color. So now render changes is available for me to click, and when I do, header background becomes that secondary color, and render changes is now disabled. Okay, so render changes. Make sure you render changes before saving, just so you know what your pop-up looks like. we have this option here for this toggle as well. So if I click that, we can kind of see what happens. It disappears and then reappears. This is actually tied to your animation settings. So as you change this animation and you render the changes, this will actually change how that pop-up comes in and comes out. Scale and fade, for example, it kind of appears and disappears in a different fashion. The animation is different. So this will change, basically show you how the pop-up appears and reappears. Now it's not exact because this little panel here is not a browser window by any means. It's just a screen, and so it's not going to be exact, but it'll give you a pretty close idea of how it actually will appear and reappear. So that's it for this video. Next video, I'll show you how to create new pop-ups and manage our pop-ups.